Well, I'm back. I know. Did you think I was never gonna come back? Probably. If you're seeing this on like your YouTube feed, it's probably because you watched one of my videos about Deaf Noodles many, many months ago. And then I didn't make anything else. I just stopped doing this. And I was really disappointed in myself for not continuing to make videos. And I wanted to, but I just didn't know on what or who, or why. And I had some really encouraging conversations with people and they were like, just make. And I'm like, yes, I have existed in the world of just make for so long that I almost forgot about just making. And I stopped making. So I didn't just make. I no make. So here I am just making. And I wanted to essentially create a space where I could just feel comfortable enough to talk about the things that I care about, because my friends don't. My friends don't care about the same things that I do. It's not that I'm chronically online, but I am able to kind of find myself digging a little too deep into things that I see online. So, therefore, I become chronically online, but like hyper fixated on like one or two things until I'm like, oh, all my questions have been answered. Let's move on. And I think I'm gonna try maybe one a week of these, see if it catches on, see if people like it. If not, whatever. If they do, super cool. We'll see what happens. I do have a background in theater and performance, and I do have a background in talking. So, I may not be good at it in this situation just yet, but I'll get there. I'll get there. So let me do the whole things. Thank you for clicking. I hope you are well. If you feel like subscribing, that is totally an option. It's free to do. You can like, you can share, you can comment, we can talk in the comment section. You can follow me at the places in the description as well if you want more of me. So let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Well, what I'm here to talk about. Uh, I don't know. I decided this. So let's talk about Bunny. No, not like a bunny. Okay, let me just pull up my document. So we need to talk about Bunny. We have all by this point seen Bunny the poodle pup, Bunny the talking dog on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, hitting those buttons and telling her mom that she's concerned or that she loves her. It's cute, right? It's cute, it's adorable. Like, oh my god, she can tell me she loves me. Oh my god. Or at least it was adorable, but like now, now I'm a little concerned myself. Um, I wouldn't say that I'm shaking in my human conscious to wear boots, but I am shaking in my human conscious to wear boots. And I think other people should be too. Like, little dramatic, but this is crazy.
That's right, you dog. I what?
This is crazy. I would give dollar after dollar to know what my cat is thinking. Like, I would give my entire day to know what my cat is thinking and be able to have an actual freaking conversation with my cat. But what are the consequences of being able to give animals human speech? Right? Like, there's got to be some type of negative impact that this could potentially have on this specific dog. Is Bunny okay? Like, is Bunny developing a higher level of consciousness through the use of these buttons? Is that good? Those are my questions that I have after watching just a couple of Bunny's videos. So before we talk about Bunny specifically, let's do some research, which is what I did, into animals that have been given or learned the ability to talk.
Alan! Al! Alan!
Not like that. More like this.
Okay, let's sit down to pass a picture and listen to music too.
So this elephant Suda wasn't necessarily talking, right? But Suda was recreating a learned process. And it isn't that the same as speech essentially. Like, you learn how to talk, you learn how to paint, you develop, it gets better over time unless you get like a head injury, I don't know. But I was thinking more like this.
Do you sleep?
Speech is defined in Ewald Merriam-Webster, the communication or expression of thoughts in spoken words, an individual manner or style of speaking, or and the power of expressing or communicating thoughts by speaking. So let's start with Coco. So Coco the gorilla, this is really quite an incredible story. Incredible in a good and bad way. Like, let's open up that definition of incredible. It's not like wow, but it is like wow. Hmm. So Coco the gorilla was born on the 4th of July in 1971 at the San Francisco Zoo. She was a Western lowland gorilla, and in 1976, the Gorilla Foundation was founded, and or 78, I don't know. I couldn't really like definitely get a specific date on that, but eventually it was set up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Here's a picture. Coco's name is super cute. It's Hanabiko, but they call her Coco for short, and in it translates from Japanese to English as firework child. 4th of July, super cute, fireworks. But she was sick when she was a little tiny baby gorilla. She needed care for survival, and it was care that her mother was unable to supply, so humans had to step in. Okay, so Francine Penny Patterson, I'm gonna probably be calling her like Francine and Penny, like flip flopping through because you'll learn. So she was an animal psychologist with permission from the San Francisco Zoo. She started working with Coco and she saw potential right away. Like, she had like a this might work moment. And so she gathered up the funds to buy Coco, purchase Cha-Ching Coco from the zoo, along with the help of Ronald Cohn. He was like her partner, zoologist dude. And Coco was moved permanently to the Gorilla Foundation. Now, there were two other gorillas that the foundation handled as well, but of course, Coco was the pride and joy of the Gorilla Foundation. So, from the age of 1, after treating Coco for her health issues, Francine or Penny, same person, taught Coco American Sign Language, ASL. But in Coco's case, they coined it Gorilla Sign Language. And she also treated Coco like, oh, yes, I bought a gorilla and I'm doing a psychological experiment on it. Like, it was very, I don't know. It felt like lines were getting crossed that should not have. And it was very experimental in more ways than just teaching a gorilla to talk. Francine would take Coco out in the wilderness that surrounded her trailer. Yep, Coco lived in a trailer on a leash. Like a dog, I guess. Francine didn't trust Coco enough to not run off. But if Coco was to take off like a runner or a track star, there is absolutely no way that Francine would be able to hold on to her because she is a gorilla. I don't know, you give it a try. Try to hold back a gorilla. So Francine or Penny, same person, made mention many times that the relationship between her and Coco was very much mother and daughter, right? So this was super, I get it, but at the same time, bro, she felt the need to not only raise Coco, but to learn her too. Now, my mom is always telling me that she just wants me to be happy, right? Like, she just wants me to be happy and have fun. And Francine seemed like she just wanted Coco to talk. That was it. There was mention that Michael, the second gorilla that was at the foundation, was hopefully going to be like the father of Coco's babies if they made any, but that didn't work out. That wasn't in the cards. I also wanted to mention that gorillas are pack animals, like big pack animals. They like their pack their family. They like to be surrounded by other gorillas. And I think there is something very dangerous and almost mean to fully remove a pack animal like a gorilla from its pack, raise it in a fucking trailer, and inundate it with elementary learning activities. Like, this has to do something to Coco's brain, like her psyche. Right? Like surrounded by humans, not her own kind, being stripped of its natural instincts and ways of communication with other gorillas. I don't know. Maybe it's just like my like not psychologist, animal speech pathologist brain stepping in with like some random like normal human bias, but I don't think it's a good idea. Now, if the gorilla physically was unable to survive in a pack of gorillas, either in a zoo or in a conservation or just out in the wilderness, then I would understand it a little bit more. But she was healthy, like she got healthy again. So I don't know. It was just a weird, it's just this took a weird turn, and we're learning. We're gonna get to Bunny, but we need this kind of like background into one of a big groundbreaking moments when it comes to animals using human speech. So anywho, so Coco then went on to be a star, right? So like she was destined for Hollywood. Kind of. So the the knowledge and popularity of Coco grew when she called an interviewer a toilet. So she was getting interviewed, her and Francine, and Coco was like, "You're a fucking toilet," and like signed toilet. I don't know the sign for toilet, but Coco also loved cats. And she got one. Like they gave her a cat. Well, they gave her actually multiple cats, but her first cat was named Allball because apparently Coco loved to rhyme. Um and then Allball died, smushed by a car, and it's sad, right? Like, I get it. Cats get you get it, right? Cats get hit by cars. They die. Yeah, and Coco made sure to let people know that she too was sad by sliding her finger down her face like tears. And this is when Coco was all like, I'm a celebrity. Look at all my celebrity friends, Mr. Rogers, Robin Williams, National Geographic colors, and even expressed sadness when she was informed of the death of Robin Williams. Oh, Flea also met Coco. And let's talk about these in-person or trailer meetups that Coco had with celebrities. It was very interesting with me because there were a few interviews of Francine and Coco that only take place on the other side of the bars. She was caged. Coco was caged in this trailer. And no one was to step beyond that point, but it kind of felt like it was for safety issues, right? We don't want Coco to hurt you. We don't want you to hurt Coco. We don't want, well, I mean, I don't know how it takes a lot to like hurt a gorilla if you're just an interviewer with a camera. But why would Robin Williams, Mr. Rogers, and Flea be safe inside the cage, physically interacting with Coco? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they don't have much like in animal zoology experience, but interviewers from like National Geographic would have probably have more like in-person animal interaction experience than Mr. Rogers. They can't go in. So like what what is she hiding? Right? It felt like that Francine was hiding something from what quote unquote the professionals would be able to catch on to. But Coco was an icon. But the question is, was it really scientifically possible and or scientifically proven for Coco to know and understand Gorilla Sign Language, American Sign Language that was altered because of the gorilla's fingers, and spoken English, many words, like 2,000 words of spoken English? I mean, the best answer is sort of the people that were obviously close to Francine were all about, yes, oh my god, this animal can talk. This is a talking animal. We've done it. She is Mrs. Doolittle, but scientists said a different thing. They said something else. So there was a double blind test done, and that's where one party sets up the examination. A whole other second party that wasn't there for the setup comes in and controls it. The third party, Coco, is being experimented on. So there are boxes, and there were her toys that she knows and loves and adores in those boxes that she was the only one to see. The scientist on the other side could not. And the scientist said, "Hey, what's in this box?" Coco got it sort of right. I think it was about like 60%. I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. But you also have to take into consideration that she was functioning at a comparable level as, let's say, a toddler. So is a toddler going to be able to tell you what their toys are in the box? Or are they going to be like, I'm bored of this game. This game sucks. Can I just go play with my toys? I don't know. It's a banana. Like, but it's a truck. You should know that it's a truck. I don't know. I don't know. It's wild. So the testing on Coco was not perfect. Nothing was 100%. And is it enough to say that a gorilla named Coco is actually recognizing these items? The science behind if Coco can speak or not is not perfect. And the results of the imperfect science, of course, were imperfect as well. And so, is it enough to say that the gorilla named Coco is actually recognizing these items and applying her knowledge of language to them, or just guessing? Because guessing happens too. I guess all the time. And usually it's when I should not make a right on red. So now, yes, Coco painted and even sent a message to the people of Earth saying that man is stupid and to save Earth. And this message was, of course, in video, and it was highly, highly edited. Like 3 words cut, 3 words cut, 3 words cut. Oh man, it was wild. So there is a very, very broad description, but suffice nonetheless, of Coco, the talking gorilla. And now, of course, there are two sides to Coco. The yes, of course she can talk. She's a talking gorilla. She's learned to speak. And then there's the nope. This is abuse. She is not talking. And the she can talk side is obviously like she's an intelligent animal and she learned throughout her life to connect vocalized words to signs due to her lack of vocal cords and create sounds. Like whatever. She learned sign language. And the nope was like, this is animal abuse. This is exploitation. Coco was the mouse in a lab, but she was a gorilla and the lab was Francine's curiosity. Like Francine was on a constant test phase for Coco. There was nothing normal or typical about Coco's life. She was in school. Gorillas don't go to school. They are not people. Is this fair? Coco could not consent to being put through this, right? Coco couldn't say, no, I don't want to talk anymore. Or could she? Oh my God, stop. Okay, so when I was looking at all of this Coco-ness, when I was looking at all this Coco stuff on the internet, everyone loves Coco. Scientists, not so much, but normal human everyday people love them some Coco, right? And so I wanted to supply some proofs of badness. Yikes. Wow, I'm being a real pessimist today. I'm so sorry. Usually I have a really great outlook on life. No, I don't. In 2005, 2 ex-employees of the Gorilla Foundation filed a lawsuit against Francine over nipples. The plaintiffs claimed that Francine demanded them to Girls Gone Wild it with Coco, to bond with Coco, because Coco was obsessed with the nips. So they also sued for wrongful termination because they found that the living facility for Coco was extremely subpar, like was gross and grotesque and disgusting. And they were let go for reporting Coco's living situations to the health and safety department for health and safety violations. So this place is disgusting. And now you're asking me to flash a gorilla lawsuit. Like, absolutely not. No. How much did they file for? $1 million. And the lawsuit was settled outside of court about 10 months after it was filed. So who got what? I don't know. Those things, we don't know. Okay, so side note, the Gorilla Foundation found itself entwined in another lawsuit in 2018, 2019, around there. In Doomy, a gorilla that was loaned, not purchased, loaned to the Gorilla Foundation from the Cincinnati Zoo. So Coco needed company. because she's a pack animal. And like Michael just like wasn't cutting it. No, I think Michael might have passed by then. I'm not exactly sure. But Indumi was the new friend for Coco. And so Coco needed company, and Doomy became that company. Now Coco died. Sorry, pretty blunt. Coco died. Coco's now gone. And the Gorilla Foundation didn't give Indumi back to the Cincinnati Zoo. And give Indumi back. Like there was like a literal justice fund for Indumi movement. So there was a lawsuit from the Cincinnati Zoo for Francine to give Indumi back to the Cincinnati Zoo because he's been gone for so long, and it's going to be pretty stressful and a pretty time staking and a pretty time consuming project to introduce Indumi back into not just his pack but just a pack in general. So it's a process. So not the best people that were running this Gorilla Foundation crap, right? So before we take all this knowledge of this one specific case of animals learning speech, and possibly apply some of it to Bunny the dog. Bunny the dog. What about Bunny? What do you think? What are your opinions? Was Coco abused, exploited? Or was she the start of a revolution, bringing animals and humans that much closer to understanding, recognition, and words? I don't know. But Coco isn't the first animal to have been claimed to be able to speak. Coco will not be the last, neither will Bunny.
I am Mom. This is Otter. And you are Bunny. Hi, Bunny. Love you.
Hi. Couch. Do. Yes.
Hi, Couch Talk. Do yes.
Bunny, a poodle, a talking poodle. So it all started here.
Do you need to be outside? Yes.
This really wasn't that far of a stretch for the mind to go with your pets, though, right? Having a button to say, hey, I gotta take a shit, let me out, is awesome. And so my childhood dog used to ring like a string of bells that we had on the back door to let us know that she had to go take a piss. Adorable every single time. It was awesome. But we didn't expand her vocabulary to match that of a toddler. So Bunny started with the button to go outside, and then slowly grew into more and more buttons of simple things like play, come, and then introduced time aspects like later and now. As Bunny grew, so did her vocabulary. And with vocab growth comes the need to put together phrases or sentences. By the way, the buttons record sound. So the owner, Bunny's owner, Alexis, her voice plays when Bunny presses the buttons. So Alexis showed the training that went into just getting a pup to understand where its paw was in space and then to hit a desired spot and then moved that to the button. So she gave us the process of her training Bunny. And I thought that was really cool. And eventually the buttons and their layout needed an update. Bunny's buttons are now smaller than before and designed in a certain way, the Fitzgerald key. So what's that? That's a great question. So it's a technique that was developed to help the hard of hearing or hearing impaired develop their speech and sentence construction in the 1920s. So applying this to Bunny's buttons, words are now organized by type, social words, descriptors, and so on. But Alexis said that the transition of this new style, this new layout, was tough for a couple weeks, but now Bunny's speech is smoother and still developing, which I thought was pretty cool. Alexis and Bunny are part of a study at the University of California in San Diego. And here's a quote from that study, or it's kind of like the about. So it says, we are working in collaboration with Fluent Pet, which is a company, to determine whether, and if so, to what degree, non-humans are able to express themselves in language-like ways. Bunny, a famous dog who has been trained to communicate through a soundboard, is one of the participants in a large-scale study from Fluent Pet This is a long sentence. Um, Bunny, a famous dog who has been trained to communicate through a soundboard, is one of the participants in a large scale study from Fluent Pet aimed at teaching domesticated animals to communicate with humans. In the past, these soundboards have typically been used for children with communicative difficulties, and similar tools have been used with non human primates in the past. We are working both on the memory aspects and especially on the linguistic aspects, e.g., how they combine words to produce utterances, how quickly they learn new words, what kind of things they communicate about, etc. The implications of the study are incredibly important, not only for understanding the nature of human canine relationships, but also in improving veterinary medicine. So, pros, this can help in so many ways. If a dog can tell you what hurts, why and how, when, did it eat something? Is it being a naughty boy? So I think it's important to mention that Alexis is not trained in canine communication, speech pathology. She doesn't have any of that professional training. She just wanted to see if Bunny was able to learn and use buttons and not to make notable scientific leaps and bounds. But, hey, shit happens, right? But I have to say, Bunny's use of the buttons is pretty damn impressive. You gotta give her that. Like, we can see her progression because Alexis posts a lot on Instagram and TikTok. We love. Also, Bunny was the cutest little smush as a pup. Like, oh my God. Bunny was so freaking adorable as a little baby. And like, who doesn't love puppies? I love puppies. I love puppies. So, some pros and cons. I love building a pros and cons list. So, let's go through some pros. Pros: Bunny is able to let her owners know when she has an ouchie, and there's proof, like a thorn in her paw or something. Pro: Bunny is able to communicate her base level wants and needs. Like, I gotta go outside to go potty, water if she's thirsty, scritches if she's feeling scritchy, all those things that she wants and needs. Pro: She's able to communicate with more than just her direct owners. Say they're out of town. Bunny wants some attention, doesn't want some attention. Look at this.
Thank you. Okay. Very polite of you. Okay. You just let me know.
Pro: It's a surefire way to get views, not only for clout, but also for the scientific study that is being done, and maybe grab some more interested pet owners to continue to forward this. There is a hair in my mouth. Forward this study and get more and more information. Science and more information go hand in hand, right? So let's do some cons. Con: As the human, you are now forced to constantly recognize button usage. Training/learning never stops. You are now a teacher 24/7. You now have a responsibility to react and respond to a dog that is potentially learning how to successfully communicate with another species. Con: There are buttons everywhere. Goodbye, living room floor. Cons: You're going to turn into the nosy neighbor because dogs are hella nosy. Con: Your dog might actually cross the line of communication to self awareness and experience an existential crisis or two. Con: You are now living with a dog that has developed awareness of itself and might be frustrated because its vocabulary is not sufficient to properly express their true emotions. That's enough. I'm starting to freak myself out. Um, so Bunny, who now has the ability to put words together to form short sentences and phrases, was gifted a mirror. So right next to her buttons was a mirror. Just watch.
Okay, you definitely just said who this will see.
Definitely just said, who this go see? After looking in the mirror. I'm gonna have to watch it back to make sure. Did you say who this? You wanna see? Look. Okay. Wait.
Bunny is beginning to question herself, asking who that is and being told it's Bunny. There is no other creature in her vocab that is known as Bunny. She made it clear at first that she was not about that. She was not about that life. She was not having that. But then, as a few more run ins with the mirror, she learns that she is dog. You are dog. Then human is introduced to her, separation of animal and human. Mom is human, Bunny is animal, Bunny is dog. The separation of creatures continues forward her understanding of the world and herself within it. It was noted in one of Lexus's videos that Bunny is on antidepressants. I wanted to make this note. Bunny gets anxious, anxiety. It's a thing. Bunny makes it known when she feels this with her buttons and her vocabulary. Watch this.
Small what, baby? I'm sorry. Why small concerned? You're big sad? Why? Because dad buy? Your door's open, bud. You can go outside. Are you big sad because dad buy? Okay, we'll do medicine.
Big sad is hard for a lot of people and animals. Bunny is just lucky enough to be able to communicate that to her human and get a nice no more big sad pill. There, of course, was an interesting thought process in the comments of this video. Did learning words create the big sad, or did learning words just make it easier for Bunny to communicate what was always there? Is self-awareness creating Bunny's big sad? Would Bunny be happier if she wasn't aware of her ability to talk? I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the Bunny has always been on the anxious side of things, that she's always been weary and alert to sounds and people and things that just kind of get her a little anxious to begin with. So I'm personally a little look, I think having the words mm, I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn, right? And I want to make sure that I mention again that Bunny is not the only dog that's using these buttons. Bunny is also not the only animal that is being taught to use buttons to talk. There are many ape studies that have been done, and cats can do this too. You might have seen Fluent Pet tagged in a lot of What About Bunny's Alexis's videos, you know? Fluent Pet is the company that makes the specific system of buttons that Bunny uses and is pretty much the face of it. It's an adorable face. Right? Like, if you needed a dog's face to be the face of your kind of company right now, Bunny's face is really freaking adorable. So Fluent Pet is also sharing their knowledge and probably buttons, I would assume, with the study at University of California in San Diego that I mentioned earlier. So unlike Coco, Bunny has reached the point of essentially forming sentences, asking questions, showing concern for specific sounds or people. Some would consider her fully self-aware, some would not, but some would. Some would, some would not, some would, some would not. I don't think we could consider Coco self-aware, but I can see an argument for Bunny. Like Coco, I can see projection from human to animal. It is impossible as a person to be totally unbiased. Do I think Bunny is purely acting from small, unnoticeable cues? No, absolutely not. Do I think there might be a little projection? Absolutely. Do I think that is a bad thing or a wrong thing? No, I don't. From what I can see, Alexis loves her pets very, very much, like many, many people do. I do not necessarily think the buttons that Bunny uses is abuse. Do I think it might be a bit exploitative? Maybe a little, tiny, teeny bit, but what isn't? But let me compare it to Coco, who was a pack animal who was removed from her pack, her life, and forced to learn a new language and barely interact with animals of her kind for almost her entire life. Bunny isn't locked in a house, shitting in a corner, and only interacting with humans, forcing her to hit these buttons to talk. What do you think? If you watch this whole video, I would love to know what you think. Do you think Coco could be considered a scientific success? Was she actually a talking gorilla? Was Coco exploited? Is Bunny the same, or is Bunny ascending to full consciousness? Is she self-aware? I would love to hear all of your opinions in the comments in a friendly, kind manner. We're not throwing hate, we're not throwing shade, we're not doing any of that negativity stuff. There's plenty of spaces online where you can go just shit on someone's life. It's not going to be this place. Just a heads up. And I hope you enjoyed the video. My thoughts, I think Coco was abused. I think Coco was completely taken advantage of, and I think Coco suffered more than it was able to even recognize because of how little actual gorilla life she was able to live, and how strange and weird Francine, Penny, whatever her name wants to be, is. Sorry, if you see this, Francine, bro. I think Bunny is interesting. I think what Bunny is capable of doing. I think it goes very hand in hand with the poodle nature as well, for how well Bunny is doing and how quickly she's continuing to learn and grow. I think it's scary, and I think it scares the crap out of me, and I don't know why. And I think people having um thoughts and questions and worries and their own concerns, Bunny, their own concerns, is justifiable in the fact that we all are animals, and kind of handling uh what if another species is able to fully communicate with us and also becomes fully aware, is a concept that we haven't really had to embrace in our brains and hearts and souls. So I think having questions and concerns and worries and fears is okay. I think it's totally justifiable. And I think if you're totally cool with it, that's also justifiable. I don't think she's being harmed. I think that there's more that goes on in a dog's brain that we even know about. So who knows? Maybe it's just all dogs are just a little bit just a step or two away from where Bunny could be. Um, just naturally, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. So I hope you had a good time, and I will be back soon with another one. Again, if you want to subscribe, you can. It's free, which is cool. In inflation 2023 vibes, anything free is for me. So I would subscribe if I were you, but no pressure. You can like, you can share, you can comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And we can chat from there. And next week I have another video that I'll come out with, and then we're just going to keep doing this kind of like a scheduled sort of thing, and then we're all going to grow old together and be happy and be best friends. So that's that for me. I hope you are well and stay well. Okay, I got to go. Bye.